And a very good morning to you. This is Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo and broadcasting live on TV1, part of the Capital Maharaja Group. And joining us this morning to discuss the end-of-term report, shall we call it, is Dr. Pratipa Mahanamaheva from the University of Colombo, Senior Lecturer in Law. Very good morning to you, Doctor.
Very good morning, Faraz.
And how are you?
Keeping well. Last week I was so busy in Gulf region for some conferences.
And we have, you brought up a very valid point. It's this, the world's tallest Christmas tree in the making. Yeah. And the College Times carried it right on the top there. And there we are. It's the College Times is Sri Lankan's Christmas tree record. Sri Lanka has revived its bid to build a record-breaking artificial Christmas tree in Colombo despite opposition from the church. Cricket legend Arjuna Ranatunga said work has resumed after the Prime Minister's intervention. And it's a whole page here. $200,000 cost of Sri Lanka's Christmas tree, 100 meters proposed height, 800,000 LED bulbs to illuminate the tree, 2 million pine cones will decorate the structure, and 56 meters is the height of the record-holding tree made in 2015 in China.
There's one in Mexico also, 900 meters sometimes back,
oh,
2009.
Really? So
Mexico.
This is going to be a little bit bigger than that?
Yeah, bigger than that.
Right. So there you are. And this is exactly the point. When you do things like this, it's a bit beyond money, because the PR value of this will be carried all around the world, and there'll be immense, putting Sri Lanka on the map, isn't it?
Definitely.
And sometimes we must think out of the box.
Yes. Now, mainly I have seen in the Gulf region, they were totally going with ISIS attacks, yes. But this was the headline. So now yes. You can see, yes. Basically this is the right to information. Mm-hmm. Now, whereas we have the Right to Information Act, yes. But even I have not seen in any newspaper such a thing. Right. People need this information. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is a private fund, welfare fund, doesn't matter. But people should know it. So the best thing I have seen, even we are talking about many websites banned in Gulf, but look here, Sri Lankan news, top of the line.
Top of the line. That's good, But, Doctor, what about this? We are towards the end of the year.
Correct.
January 2015. And it's nearly January 2017. So it's nearly 2 years. It's national unity government. In between they did have an election and so on. How are they doing?
I'll go back to the 2015.
Yeah.
You can remember the main slogan was that bribery, corruption, unnecessary expenses, unnecessary spending state funds. That was the main slogan.
Yeah.
For that people voted. 2 years gone. The sad thing, Honorable Director General Bribery also resigned. So what is the outcome of this? Immediately, all TV media made one slogan. At that time, opposition UNP made one statement. Within weeks, we will take all these people to courts. Whereas, how many high court cases filed? I just want to show. This is a media show. That's how the whole world also coming up. Things like that. So, for 2 years gone, DG resigned, new DG is there. There was a gap. I just want to know, because the Right to Information Act is there. Black and white letters. And also Witness and Victim Protection Act is there. How many witnesses are suffering? How many victims are suffering? Even black and white letters, these 2 years, many things had done. I salute for that. But practically whether it happening, people visiting Vietnam for investment. Why is that? Honorable President, Prime Minister always go to countries, even today Malaysia. Will people come? People, investors, getting the experts' ideas, experts' opinion for us, and also advisory. Should I invest in Sri Lanka? The main issue is this. Many tax introduced, withdrawn. Many fine introduced, revoked. So this situation, the advisors are analyzing. Still Sri Lanka is not certain. Uncertainty there. But for the people in this country, this is the lovely government. Lovely government. Why? Both parties are running well. I was abroad for some times back and I was speaking for these investors. Yes, we are ready to come for this Sri Lanka. This unity government sometimes starting a lot of issues. Now see, can the parliament introduce something? President intervene and get in the idea. So if such a situation, how can we invest in Sri Lanka? I mean one thing, they go to Vietnam, even a socialist system. The system is certain. So that's why now we are talking about after 2 years. The culprits were actually found in that bond case.
That's right, the COPE report.
COPE report.
Yeah.
I am asking, they came to power to stop corruption, good governance. I really like that. It should be there. But what happened finally? It turned into the other side. And the COPE found. And SLFB, last media I saw on TV, yes, we are actually filing the case against them. But have we found it? So these are some of the uncertainties I am talking about.
And it is an uncertainty because you have the president who didn't renew didn't give the former governor a new contract,
Okay.
and we have then the prime minister who appoints the same man to his prime minister's office and gives him apparently a lot more responsibility, and so that sends mixed signals.
Yeah, I mean, what is good governance? Transparency, accountability. Now in this bond scam, we really found COPE gave the recommendation.
Yeah.
With that, why can't you go for criminal investigation?
Indeed.
Why can't you start a case against him? Now, if this man is clear, I really respect central bank governors. But
Yeah.
if he's so clear, so honest, why these two sides are struggling like this? That's why the investors are looking for us in other countries, because they don't just come and invest money here. They want to see the background situation. They do the feasibility studies.
Do you think, Doctor, that in the eyes of in the mind of the Prime Minister, that Arjuna Mahendran, that nobody has a patch on Arjuna Mahendran, that he's a good economist and he wants him, no matter what?
The issue is this. Now, why we blame the last regime? Nepotism, friends, relations. The same thing is happening. If I'm also Royal College. If I'm your batchmate, if I'm your classmate, that is a different issue. Why should we protect like that? Mr. Clean. Prime Minister was the Mr. Clean. But after this incident, you go and see the general mass, what they feel about that. Why can't you take action? Actually, Prime Minister or President should not involve these things. They should appoint a committee or a commission or take action. Thereafter, you come for a final conclusion. Without coming that, why we are prematurely protecting this? That is the biggest issue. So the same mistake this time also they are repeating. So where we are going to correct these measures? So finally, it's a people verdict.
Yes, but of course they will say that we have they achieved the 19th Amendment.
Correct.
The right to information is now sort of in place. They're recruiting information officers. Some say 2,000, some say 4,000, but it's going on, right? So aren't those the plus points?
Yes, they are basically plus point.
Yeah.
Before that, I would like to place another thing for a plus point. Now there is a Geneva resolution passed against Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka has not done anything to back up that. Immediately when Donald Trump came to power, revoke it, cancel it. Just ask him to revoke that. We have to show what we have done, honestly, for reconciliation. At least Truth and Reconciliation Commission, or even appoint a committee to investigate. Without doing that, we are just asking. Now I am coming to the 19th Amendment. Fantastic. 19th Amendment, 5 to 6 commissions were established. Now I am asking whether this commission has published the reports. Now there was a case in Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission where the NDT students were attacked. Where is the commission report? Then there was another allegation against the IG of Sri Lanka. Where is the report? And likewise, just appointing commissions, independent commissions, not enough. They should not come under. Basically, Bribery and Corruption Commission. What happened? The president openly made a statement. Immediately they resigned. Are they independent? You can say commissions are independent. Whether the powers they have exercised to show honestly, publicly, yes, we have done this type of things, nothing. And there is another case against the Navy chief also, which I was in Gulf region, I saw every media showed that. So what type of action? Just ask in report. I ask another one thing. Where is the Valikada prison attack report? How many reports? How many committees published? No action taken. So 19th Amendment, yes, theoretically okay. But when it comes to practice, people must realize there are a lot of other things you have to set up. Even the executive or the legislation should not interfere with. I know a lot of police, these police chiefs, those who are in police stations, and when they are appointing, who interfere with that? Even the police commission is there. Whether they have power, whether they can summon IG and give a direction, and what's the final report. So lot of issues I can raise. Setting up independent commission, setting up right to information act is not sufficient. We must create a culture in Sri Lanka which respect human rights, which promote human rights, which basically analyzing all these things. So without this culture, civil and political rights, economic, social and cultural rights, all these things are there. Setting up commissions will not enough. Now commissions are they powerful? Let's see presidential commission, only one which abolished civil rights of Sirima Bandaranaike and Fauci at that time. Honorable Prime Minister and the Minister. Only that was there. You can set up special presidential commission whether they have enough powers to punish them. That is the basic issue. Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission only can give a recommendation.
Yes.
If recommendation not followed, you have to give it to the Parliament. Parliament has so many words. So what is the action, backup action? So at least the commissions must see to get more power to their legislation, at least to amend that and protect rights. But so that is legally. That is legally.
Doctor, do you detect a sort of a game plan on the part of the government to try and forget about this bond matter?
Yes. Basically, this is where games, deals, negotiations are full. People are not understanding this because I can see most of the time now FCID, how many cases they have filed, and also when they start investigation, how the investigations are going on, whether it's done in a very transparent manner, and also the backup plan is there.
But we can't. There doesn't seem to be, just as an outside observer of these matters, we see in one case somebody is accused of misuse of state property. So mainly it's a car. So a group of people are remanded for that. Right? They spend 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks inside, and then they're released on bail. On another matter, same thing, no such action. So why is there it's an unbalanced act from the part of the government?
Definitely. That's why Faraz, I started. They see the individual and target. Now let's see how many members of the parliament, those who are appointed under the national list, lot of allegations are there. Have they taken any action against them? Now this is an open door. Let's join the government. We will balance this. That's the deal. That's why I'm telling you, openly they are requesting like that. So in that case, how can we see the fairness? How can we see the justice? They take individuals, let's say sometimes maybe Tiranalas, maybe another person, they may arrest, and after they go to the courts. The same case is coming in a different way. So people are looking where the justice, whether justice is blind or whether you take action against targeting individuals. So this is the clear thing. Legislation, executive must keep the hands away from the judiciary as well as the police investigation. That's what I'm telling you. But a lot of interference are there. You know the police IGP, that call came up at that time.
Indeed.
Openly. And what Constitutional Council is there? What type of action Constitutional Council has taken? So they are the only thing who can monitor commissions. I'm just asking these things. At least show some braveness, show some steady decision that you have taken on behalf of the people, not on behalf of the politicians.
That was simply not cricket, was it? That call. And okay, it may not have been cricket to record it, but the point is it happened, and it's crazy. The IGP was apparently saying that ahead of the investigation, that there will be no arrest. That means he's already made his mind up. Well, no arrest without his knowledge. But that's absolutely...
That's totally wrong. 1979 Criminal Procedure Code. Who conduct the investigation? By the police or even the division of that. How can IGP take the policy decision? So finally, if same thing happened without the minister's consent, someone has been arrested, former STF chief.
Yeah.
If I don't know this person, then I never inform like that. So to arrest or to punish them, that is totally different. The arms are there. That's why executive, legislation and judiciary arms are there.
Yeah.
So STF chief, arrest or any other thing, minister should not involve, president should not involve. If they involve like that, where is the good governance? That's my whole point.
Well, good governance seems to have gone out of the window. For example, Doctor, when they came in, or in fact in the manifesto previous to coming in, they said that on certain road projects that there was 90% corruption, 10% work. Okay, all right. Then on the 30th of March, soon after they came in, they put on hold all these contracts because they said they want to look at the contracts. So I know that in terms of the outer circular highway, for example, the Prime Minister and the Minister at the time, Kabir Hashim, they commissioned a report of government professionals to look into. Okay. All right. On the 30th of March, there was a memo sent out by the Prime Minister to ministers saying that as a matter of policy, unsolicited bids should not be entertained. Then we have a situation where the Prime Minister, speaking at a function celebrating a motor dealer's some event, some timeline, at that function he said, I'm glad I didn't listen to all you guys, because we stopped these contracts and we looked at these contracts and we have saved on this particular project 30 billion rupees. What he didn't say, and what is revealed by the committee that he was appointing, that was appointed, he was part of making that appointment. That committee says that the bill of quantities were all in order. There was no major deviation and so on. And that the rate was XYZ. That was the rate. Well, it turns out that the 30 billion was saved because they reduced the 6-lane highway to 4 lanes.
4 lanes.
All right. And with no provision to thereafter come back and say, let's make it 6 lanes. So they reduced the scope of work. A 6-story house will cost you a certain amount, and a 4-story house will cost you less. That's elementary, my dear Stanley, as you say. But in this case, when asked as to what happened to the so-called 30 billion saving, they said, we awarded the contractor another contract. But that other contract was unsolicited. They had no tender process. So what on earth why the memo? Why the memo saying don't accept unsolicited bids? Where is the tender process? This is the government that came in on a roller coaster bandwagon of good governance.
Correct.
So what's happening? The Prime Minister should lead by example.
To eliminate these, that's why they have set up as the so-called 19th Amendment Procurement Commission. But the other issue, let's see, where is the Auditor's Bill? Where is the Auditor's Act? Still, it is under argument. So that's why, before coming to power, And after the power, once they are exercising, they see certain situations. Whatever we promise to people, can we practice? Can we achieve that? That's why I'm telling you. Most of the things, now see, even the port city, China Harbour Private Limited, they have signed a contract. Finally, the work was abandoned for a so long period. But now they have to pay compensation. What they have to pay? More land should be granted for them. So is this the thing we are waiting? And as you said, the professionals committees, they have saved some money. And the same thing happening for an employment bill. How many complaints are there? And also several ministries, now they go to the bribery and corruption. Now the bribery and corruption must be not the previous one, the present one also. So there are a lot of mess happening here. What I mean, the practice. Whatever you say to people, you must practice. That is the good governance. Sometimes there may be deviations. Yes, we have to accept it. We have to accept it. But show the honest situation. And also whatever the decision you take, honestly you take, but it is not happening. That is where the transparency I can't see here today.
And therefore it is very sad, isn't it?
Why not? Sad means for people, not for politicians and journalists like you and me.
But it's there is growing consternation at the so-called, shall we say, pressure that the Prime Minister is exerting on the media. Not to say that we are going to get worried about that. We're not going to get worried about it. But it's not on for somebody who talks of Westminster-style politics and democracy.
Liberal Westminster.
Liberal Westminster. What is liberal about having a Prime Minister come here and berate his various journalists, name them,
Correct.
and so on and so forth, instead of letting them practice the art?
Now the pressure, basically we have seen in the Parliament. Even Prime Minister named the journalist.
Yeah.
But there are Parliament powers and privileges. Under that, veil, they escape from that. But this has been now practicing by the commanders also. Whatever the lesson, whatever the experience which had given, now the other officials also, same way it is practicing. Mm-hmm. So honestly what you have to do, liberal democracy, and as a leader of the Liberal Democratic Association in West, you must give some type of example. We can't teach journalists just to write like this. Yeah. That is a different way. And also Director General of this media department, yeah, and the other side the Secretary of the mass media, yeah, they all teach media how to write like this. So whatever the Prime Minister say, others are also following. So yeah, the officials are well educated, they must see a different thing. Media freedom is there. That's why we see in the 19th Amendment. That's why we see in many things. But when they try to criticize the government, they blame. So this is where you can't teach a journalist to write like this so balanced way. What they see, the information is necessary for the people, whether you like or not.
That's right.
As a democratic leader, I should bear. That's why plus and minus. So always what you have to see, sometimes even the president say, I got to know this about from the papers. So that means one idea is there. Yeah. President also giving power. In Sinhala you go, ape rahene. That means our people we have to protect. But has he done it? That is the basic issue. So this is where struggling one side, when they are criticizing, you try to put a hold, and also this is where Cold War, not maybe white van, no other things, but there is a threat. That is you call duress basically. What is happening?
So that is also duress.
Yes, implied duress. Not to do like that. If you are there for freedom, if they are there for media freedom, let's write. If anything goes wrong, take action. Defamation and other cases are there. Rather than threatening them, what you can take, okay, take legal action. Without taking legal action, if you pressurize like this, how can we survive in this country?
But sometimes these are government ministers in the government side. For example, they take in issue with the Auditor General on his report on the bond matter. But the Auditor General told us very clearly that he only deals in facts and figures. Exactly. And therefore he had put a value to the loss at 1.6 billion on the day. But he acknowledges that the loss would be greater
than that.
because it is over 30 years, but that would need a specialized kind of calculation, and he didn't want to enter the realms of speculation. So he dealt with facts and figures on the day.
Correct.
Now they're twisting this to say that he doesn't have the expertise. Of course, that's all nonsense. He does have the expertise.
He has.
And isn't it astonishing that we can't even accept the Auditor General's report just because it's not in their favour?
Yeah. Before that, I like to add another comment. Co-op chairman, you can remember the day he just withdrawn from his seat.
That's right.
Why? There was a pressure from the government for the Auditor General to show that he just withdrawn. But after that, once again, he chaired it. The other thing, Auditor General Department is an independent one. And also, he has all the expertise. So you can't just say whether there are no people, therefore we are not accepting it.
Yeah.
And see the footnote case also. And
Yes.
footnote was not accepted by Honorable Auditor General.
Yes.
So these are the things, if you want to, highlight something, you take them to your pocket. But if you want to criticize some people, you show on that way. So this is why the political game is there. Basically, this is a political game to keep in power. Same thing happening in local government election.
But
Now, long time back, the same decision, now they are coming for it.
No,
It is
Doctor,
one of the
I
things
noticed
there.
another thing. I think about a week ago, we had a notice at a press conference. The Governor of the Central Bank says that on 2 occasions, certain steps, censures were taken against perpetual treasuries. Now, he doesn't declare as to what those decisions were. Don't you think that we have a case under the right to information to find out what on earth those censures were?
Yeah. Now, investigation, sometimes most of the crucial points you can't disclose because it will be damage or harmful for the investigation. But what you can do, even an employee terminate, before that what you do, suspend. But this perpetual investment private limited, not even temporary cancel the line. There was a melamine case, Edna, whatever the chocolate factory, temporary suspended.
Yeah.
But that action was not taken. That's my concern. Right? Not to disclose these things to the public. Temporary, hold, cancel, suspend. And after the case, you can terminate. It is not happening. That's why good governance. That's why transparency. For us, it is not happening. How can you tell another government institution not to involve like this? So the example has not shown. Maybe this investigation, it is continuing. Yes. What you can do, temporary, suspend, cancel their license after the investigation, you can grant them. That simple good governance principle, even Prime Minister can tell that in the Parliament.
But he is not.
He's not doing. That's why I said, once again, the same mistakes, same whatever the action happening, same. Politicians are same. Even in any government.
But the frightening aspect of all this is that having come out of a system where there was growing nepotism, family power, political patronage, and so on, and where there was another rule for all of them, away from the normal laws, having come out of that sort of dark pit into some place where there was even a little glimmer of light, the frightening part is that our national unity government, led by Mr. Wickremesinghe, the frightening part is that he doesn't appear to see the writing on the wall. Isn't that the frightening part?
Frightening part, he also has a challenge. How to remain his premiership in future. That's why all these things are happening. I have seen a lot of media news. There is a challenge for the premiership also. They are going to appoint another one like that. I don't know the right or wrong. But the issue, even to remain power, you have to act like this. So that's why a unity government. I make one question for you. Tell me, Faraz, any country, now 206 countries are there in the world. Any country having a unity government? No. They come for a unity government if there is a economic or social or difficult situation. After that, only in the Second War period, yes, there was. Once that completed or once that finished, you go with your... How can you come up with different leftists and right politics together? You can't run. then you must take one. Even UNP take the government tender, OSLP take the government tender. This is only for 100 days, and without any reason extended for another 2 years or 5 years. That is to show keep in power.
They're hanging on to power. Dr. Mahana Maheva, thank you very much for being on Newsline. We appreciate your time, your presence.
Thanks.
And do come back anytime you feel.
Thanks.
Thank you. And thank you very much. Do enjoy the weekend ahead of you. And we'll see you same time, same place on Monday morning. Take care and God bless.